If you just kind of quiet quit and then you're just not engaged and you're just, being a vibes black hole where you're just sucking in all the
Vibes black hole, is that what you said?
you're just sucking it all. Yeah, I didn't have a good analogy. But you're just a void. You're just a void. You suck in all the positivity and it's all gone.
Welcome to the Impromptu Board Game Podcast. Today, as our inaugural episode back from our long break, we'll be having some fun playing a top 32 bracketed system of the worst gamer. What that means is we've taken 32 types of worst gamer. We're going to put them head to head against each other in a bracket of 32 and see what we think is the worst gamer.
Well, worst type of gamer.
Worst type of gamer.
Worst gamer. Worst gamer makes it sound like you're singling out an individual.
They're very bad at games. Yeah, I mean, this is supposed to be just for fun, kind of tongue in cheek. Um, it's supposed to break down to what type of gamer you want to play with least, I guess, is the premise. If you're wondering, the inspiration's drawn from the Dice Towers video by the same name, The Worst Gamer. You can check that out on YouTube, and we'll be doing something a little different to adapt it to our purposes. Basically, there's three of us. You already heard David. Andrew's here too, and we're just gonna break down the one-on-one matchups. The three of us will vote, and you must vote. And then whoever wins takes the next uh, step in the bracket, and until we get to the end.
And I guess we're voting on who we think most people would assume is worse.
I think it's just based on us.
Most people, I thought, yeah, I was doing it on my own.
Oh, wonderful. Okay,
Yeah, it's just based on us.
great. Okay.
Are we ready?
I mean, okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Do you guys want to go through every single one first, or are we just gonna go as the brackets come up?
Yeah, like, we'll go through every single one as each matchup comes up.
Okay, okay, let's do it by matchup then.
It seems more efficient to do it that way.
First matchup.
Oh, sorry, before that, I guess we should clarify that, like, I think all of us have made a bracket, like, we have the bracket already, and we've made our predictions as to what's gonna be in the final four,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, okay. You want to go over the scoring? Sorry. I was just talking to Andrew about it. Basically, my thought was something very straightforward. For everyone you get right in the final four, you get 3 points per for a potential of 12. Everyone in the final two, the finals, will be 5 points per and the potential of 10. And then the last one, if you get it right, we'll call it 10 points. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Or just, like, 50 billion infinity points, that works too.
Yeah, I like 50 billion infinity points.
Okay. The guy who doesn't pay attention, and the guy who takes the game too seriously.
So, do we have discussion or just voting?
No, you can discuss it and see who you voted for.
Okay.
Yeah, discussion's the fun, I think. We'll start having arguments about it.
That is important.
Did you wanna, like, take the charge and do a little description of each one before we start discussing, or should we just jump in, like, with whatever we feel like?
We can just like go over our own definitions, and then do a little clarifying before we discuss.
Well, just for structure's sake, I was thinking, like, you would when you introduce him, you kind of explain each one, and then we jump into conversation wherever it takes us.
I'm sure we've all had experience with some of these, especially the those of us who end up teaching a lot of games. Because when you're teaching a game to a new person or a couple of people, it's kind of your responsibility to watch them, make sure they're doing everything right for the first few turns at the very least, probably throughout the first game, et cetera, et cetera. So the guy who doesn't pay attention is always a pain in the ass in regards to that. But it could even be worse than that. It could not be their first game playing it, but they're just not paying attention to the game state. And whenever it becomes their turn, you have to tell them it's their turn, and then they kind of take a while reacclimating themselves to what's going on, and then they make a decision or a move or something. But generally, just their head is not in the game or in the social situation they're in. Is my take on it. And the guy who takes the game too seriously just won't budge at all on any rule, especially if a mistake is made. Uh, they feel like a lot of times I've seen people react really poorly in that. Well, if this person played it right, I would have won the game or something, and that's something a little different. But basically, they're not about having fun with the game as much as scrutinizing every play, everyone's play, and making sure everything's adhered to the letter of the law or the rule book, as the case may be.
Now, Paul, that's not fair to say. That's how they have fun. People have fun in different ways.
I guess so. No, that can be true. That can be true.
If you don't have structure, if you don't have structure, there is no fun because you just have anarchy.
That's true. That's true.
You know, rules are there for a reason. Otherwise, you could just improvise every game, and everyone would have their fun. It's kind of not, but that's okay. So right off the bat, like these categories for me also kind of highlights a personal judgment of each of the things because it's also how bad things are can also depend on the degree in which things are happening.
Mhm.
Like, so for this one example, if someone's taking a little like if a low end, a guy not paying attention, like on the low end, is less annoying to me than a guy taking the game too seriously at a low end, right? Just kind of a little bit, but then like the extreme, like someone's like never paying attention until it's their turn, and even then they're distracted, versus the guy who's always taking the game too seriously and like regulating everything. For me, like the guy not paying attention is worse in that regard. So I don't know, it kind of bounces.
I agree. I mean, I think there's definitely some overlap between these. This definitely falls on a spectrum, and the more extreme someone is, obviously, is going to be worse than the less extreme someone is as one of these. Like a high end doesn't pay attention is definitely worse than a low end takes too seriously, or a high end takes too seriously is worse than a low end doesn't pay attention.
Yeah, well, my point was like low end A might be worse than low end B, but then high end A or sorry, high end B would be worse than high end A kind of situation
Okay, okay. The degree
matters.
affects the overall outcome or impression they make.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
everyone can fall into the trap of taking a game a little bit too seriously, like a little bit,
Yeah,
versus not paying attention. Like obviously reasonable things like, emergencies or things like that, obviously, that some things are more acceptable than others, but usually if you're not paying attention, that's a choice. And oftentimes if you take a game too seriously, you're just getting wrapped up in the excitement or like like your excitement into the game. But if we're taking it to like a high end where this is, and I think for the entire list in general, we're kind of assuming the worst type of each of these things. Just as a general rule, a high end, like, yeah, taking a game way too seriously is all the time is almost like a personality defect. Essentially, it's like a personal problem that you need to really have someone talk to you about.
And that's interesting. For taking the game too seriously, I just interpreted it as being very competitive, not necessarily to the point of like ruining the experience for other people. That's so funny. Huh.
yeah. I mean, there's some of that in there. There's definitely some of that in there.
Competitive would be just takes game seriously, whereas takes game too seriously, there's like a personal need to be right or need to be heard,
Mm.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, I see that. And my brain did not go that far.
But that's how I interpreted it. Yeah. I do have more to say about the guy not paying attention, actually. All right, so I was at Board Game Geek Con. I was playing a game. It was Gutenberg, and I was playing with randoms because this was right after the pandemic, so most of my friends didn't go. So I was just playing with a bunch of random people in like the hot games room. I ended up playing with these two guys and an extra who was cool, who just constantly took forever on their turn because they kept getting into side conversations like during their turn and other things and distracting each other and like constantly. While we were playing, we were like 2 rounds in, it's a 5 round game. We're about 2 rounds in. Another group from the table next to us with the same game sat down, learned the game, played through the whole game, and left about half an hour before we finished our game, and we had like an hour lead on them.
Ouch.
And it was yeah, and it was because these people like during their turn they'd be like thinking, and then something would happen. They'd look up and they'd be like, "Oh, I want to get involved in that." It's like, dude, it's your turn. It's like take your damn turn. So I mean, that's kind of an exceptional degree. Is like that was very willingly not paying attention. Like it almost seemed like anything was more interesting than the game they were playing, although they get to it eventually. And so that was quite extreme and quite a miserable experience for me.
I actually encounter this quite a bit. Usually low end, sometimes medium high end, and ugh, it's always a little rough because they get tired of me telling them to pay attention, and I get tired of telling them. I mean, it's a little more like okay if it's a first game because they honestly don't know what they're doing, so they need a little more like instruction or directive, like what you should be doing, so you can kind of recount the game state to them to kind of help them along. But I find it much more annoying when we know the game and everyone should just know what they're doing.
Yeah, I've definitely had to take people's phone away on occasion.
Really.
Be like, "You'll get this back at the end. You'll get this back at the end of the game."
Principal David has spoken.
Wow.
Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. And I think I'm glad you said that about having to reiterate and other things because there is a category later that I feel like I'm a part of. Like, if I'm gonna analyze myself, like, honestly,
Okay, ready to vote?
ready to vote.
Okay, here we go.
We can just go in order. We can just go in order. We'll go like Paul, me, Andrew.
Sure. I gotta go with too seriously, guy.
Okay. I went for the guy not paying attention.
I went for the guy not paying attention.
Oh, nice. Okay, let me write that in.
I mean, they're both pretty bad in their own way, but I mean, even when you were explaining it, Paul, you sounded more exasperated at the guy not paying attention. I'm kind of surprised I kind of surprised you voted for the too seriously guy. Would you like to explain more of like why you picked that one over the
Yeah. I was also
I
surprised.
think there's just a human level perception to it. You're gonna think it's less of a problem if you don't encounter it as much, or if you get desensitized to it to some extent with people who do it a lot. I'm kind of in the second category. People tend to do it a lot, so I have like I have a lot of tricks to keep people focused and paying attention. And like one of the tricks would be like if you're playing a four-player game and player one's going, and then let's say player three is the one who doesn't pay attention. Player two's going. You kind of engage player three in a little conversation on what they're gonna do to kind of keep them locked in. So when player two is kind of done with their game, say, "All right, you're up," and you just say their name, get their attention, and then tell them they're up. I find that negates a lot of the not paying attention. I don't know if it's just like, I play in a public group, I run a public group, we play with a lot of new people, a lot of different people. So one of the tricks I've developed to kind of combat this, because it does happen quite a bit, is kind of like you can get a sense of how long everyone takes, how long turns should take. So you get towards the end of like player two's turn, you kind of engage player three right away and keep them focused, and then it negates a lot of the problems. The too seriously guy, that just seems like a personality thing, and it's that's just like hard to navigate. Because if someone's just taking something too seriously, telling them to calm down does not help. They're already overreacting, so telling them not to overreact generally doesn't lead to positive results. Yo, man, this is not appropriate, and if you have to take it there, you're already not in a great place. So that's just me and how I've dealt with it in the past. But if it annoys you guys more, I mean, I think it tends to if no one does anything about it. And sometimes it's just up to the person teaching the game to kind of be the guy that kind of keep his people engaged and stuff like that. I mean, I've done that a lot, so it feels like less of a problem to me. Is my overall thing on it.
The not paying attention is less of a problem.
Yeah, it's a little less of a problem if you can kind of catch their attention and time it right to kind of like when their turn comes up, they're already thinking about it because you've engaged them in conversation about it. So okay, you're coming up. Like, what do you think you're gonna do? Or what's your situation like? Do you think you need more food here? Or kind of that kind of thing. It's just a little bit of an engagement to kind of link them in, so that when it gets to their turn, they get right to them. But that's just my trick for it. I don't know if that works with everybody or whatever. All right, doesn't pay attention. Won the bracket. Moving on, we have the backseat teacher slash player and analysis paralysis guy. Analysis paralysis is pretty just straightforward, right? Basically, they take too long to think about whatever they're doing. Yeah, does anyone else have anything to say on that one? Okay, backseat teacher slash player. So when someone's teaching a game and someone's sort of helping you teach the game.
It was. I totally missed backseat on the list, and I didn't see it. There's 32 things to look through. I missed it. Sorry. But yes, that is. I guess that's me under certain
And then the
circumstances.
the player's this kind of the same thing. Like when you're playing the game, someone's kind of like looking over your shoulder, telling you a bunch of stuff, and these two almost go together, don't they? But they'll backseat your moves, which also isn't great. I find this to be most annoying in first games because it's okay to not win your first game. Just let the person explore the space. Or if I'm playing, I want to explore the space. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm not that worried about it. Why are you like telling me what to do all the time? You're really making this less enjoyable for me, kind of thing.
Yeah, at that point, it's like, why am I even playing? Why don't you just play for me, and I'll just go do something else that's more fun.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
It's starting to sound like what you were bordering on doing with the person not paying attention, just giving them a little not actually that much, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, this is an extent, right, the low end, high end thing again, right? Like, I think low end where you're just doing it to support someone, like, during, like, their first couple turns if they feel overwhelmed, I think that's fantastic, and, right, I enjoy the fact that, like, the person doing this probably in some way wants people to have a good game, or they could be taking the game too seriously and want things, in a very competitive, optimized kind of mindset. But yeah, it sounds like where we're going, right? If we're looking at the high end and you're doing it every single time and you're not responding to feedback of like, hey, I'd like to do this on my own, then that starts to get a little iffy.
I've seen some people like they have an overall conception of how things are supposed to go, and if things don't go that way, it really like rubs them the wrong way, which is very strange to me because I think, everyone gets to make their own choices. So if someone doesn't make a choice that I agree with or I not one that I would predict, I just chalk that up to, oh, they did something I didn't expect, and that's it. You just move on. Like sometimes when you make a move someone else didn't expect, like some people react really badly to it. And it's always very surprising to me. I'm like, what is your problem, dude? Calm down. like, I made the call. I made it. That's it. There's no need to take back because I don't want to. It's like you don't have to rethink this for me. It's fine.
Usually, when someone's reacts like that, it comes with an agenda, in a sense that kind of screwed them over, or they just had something they wanted to do.
Oh, they made other moves on the assumption you were gonna make a certain move. Yeah, yeah, okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's a different. That's not quite backseating. That's just falls into several other categories
Yeah.
later, like constant complainers coming up. We'll get to that. But yeah, the backseating is very similar to another category we have called alpha gaming, and it's very prevalent in cooperative games for the most part. This is kind of where because pandemic didn't we didn't know it was a problem when pandemic came out,
Oh yeah.
but in pandemic, I'm assuming most of you know it, and if you don't, you should go try it. It's excellent. But if you're playing multiplayer and it's someone else's turn, you don't have anything to do but look at them. Yeah, watch what they do, unless you're backseat gaming, in which case now you're playing and they're not. So hey, you can always take initiative if you want. It's just not fun for the person playing. But it's kind of what else can you do if they're APing?
That's a good segue to analysis paralysis. How much analysis paralysis is too much?
Well, this is what I was getting to. When I start telling you what to do, that's when it's too much.
You've been going for too long, and I need to tell you what's going on. You're saying this the second one in the bracket creates the first one.
Kind of, yeah. I do have a reputation for this, and I admit that, but it only comes like when I'm upset.
Oh, interesting.
And the reason I'm upset is usually when people are APing, they're not, you could see where they're like looking or they're like talking through their turn as well. And if while you're talking, you're mentioning stuff that's literally impossible for you to do, like it's not an option because it's not legal or you don't have the resources, that's when I start like getting a little frustrated and be like, hey man, here are your options. Like, stop thinking about stuff that's not possible.
Wow, I haven't seen that, and I've it's not unheard of, but I haven't seen that in a long time. Like people theorizing about things they could do if only I had this resource, or if only.
If only they start thinking, they talk about like, I want to get one of these. Okay, which one of those should I take? It's like, dude, you can't. You're nowhere near that, or you don't have the 2 wood or whatever. It's like you have no way to get wood. Stop it. Go over here.
Do people ask you something that's impossible? I'm choosing between these two impossible possibilities. Which one do you think I should take? Shut the hell up. You can't do either of those.
I say it nicer than that, but the
Oh, okay.
no, depending on the complexity of the game, like yeah, a lot of games can be like, I cannot, especially your first couple plays, I cannot remember or remember what I need to do this because I haven't done it in like the whole game where I'm over here doing this that I just understood now.
Okay. Okay. For me, to some extent, it's kind of the setting. We've had like board game retreats and stuff where just a group of friends will get together and we'll like go and Airbnb like some place that's kind of out there and secluded, and we'll play board games for like a weekend or something. In settings like that, I really don't mind analysis paralysis because you're with your friends, you can chat with other people. I don't mind, letting people take as much time as they want.
Yeah, that's
If
true.
it's a more sort of communal public setting where like you really have to be more mindful of your time because the longer you're taking, you're really like making three other people suffer for it, then I'm more like sensitive to the analysis paralysis. Like, dude, you're taking too long for this. You really need to like make a call and move on here.
Generally, when someone is a known APer in a group, the other people will make allowance for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
In a sense, one of my funniest examples is there was this guy Brian. That's not his real name, and so Brian was a known APer, but he was also the person that like had most of the games, and so
Oh,
especially like overseas, like from foreign
that's
countries
what
and stuff.
overseas means.
It's weird to say from overseas, especially nowadays, but like anyway, so if you play with, there was times where it'd be like a 3-person game with Brian, and the other 2 people would have a 2-player game on the side to play while Brian is taking their turn.
Really? So you set up a chessboard on the side and you just play chess while
Yeah, chess or like six nim, not six nim, like battle line or whatever.
Oh, funny. Wow, that's pretty extreme.
And Brian was totally fine with it. It wasn't like an insult or anything. It was just like he knew. He's like, yeah, I take a while on my turn.
And
That's
as long as Brian doesn't mind, then that's great. That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty like extreme accommodation.
I take a while on my turn. That's how I play. Just if you try to like rush me or get me to change, it's going to take even longer. So that's just how it is.
If we had unlimited time, I mind it less. If we have a limited time, then I mind it a lot more.
Even with unlimited time, I mind it quite a bit. It's like
Oh yeah, okay.
I think AP part of it is implied that it's unnecessary or it feels unnecessary,
That's true. That's true.
like you're taking way too long.
If you're learning a game for the first time, it's less appropriate in that it's your first game. You don't need to be so precious. Go ahead and make a move and explore this. Just explore the space. It's okay to do that. Some people like the reason they take a long time is like they don't want to make the wrong move or regret the move later. And I'm just like, dude, just don't regret the move. It's fine. Just try something out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not that big a deal. Learning to play the game means you'll learn to do it better next time. And, if just let yourself do that. I don't know why you're like, yeah, paralyzed and afraid to make a wrong move when there's like no consequences here. There are no stakes. I really feel like a lot of people have a very like not healthy relationship with losing. It's just okay to lose. It's just not a big deal.
Look, if you lose, then everyone else at the table who you lost to will think less of you.
Okay. I guess I don't game with people like that very much. Like I lose plenty of games and I never feel like anyone thinks less of me because of it. Especially if it's a learning game.
All right, we ready to vote on this
All
one?
right, all right. David, when do you kick us off?
Oh, it's clearly AP.
Andrew.
I'm gonna go with analysis paralysis as well.
Oh wow, I'm totally in the minority. I picked a backseat teacher player.
I will say, as we were talking about the low end, high end stuff, I was actually like starting to change my mind and going with backseat gamer. I was on the fence. I was on the fence.
You were on the fence of it, or I mean, part of it, for me, it also bothers me when I'm teaching a game and someone interrupts me teaching the game. Like I'm okay teaching the game. Someone else can teach the game. That's totally okay, and I won't interrupt them. But when I'm doing it, I kind of have my own like narrative flow to introduce the information in a logical manner. But like when someone else chimes in and starts like chiming in more advanced things like towards the end, like you should be thinking about this and this. Oh, when you're making this move, I'm like, dude, that's too much. You're asking too much of this of the person learning. You need to give them information in bites that they can kind of like receive and digest and then so remember when I talked about this, well, this is where it plays out, or these are the implications, or whatever. But like I feel like I have a pretty good flow as far as how to introduce information in a rate that people can understand, and when people mess with that, it's like so irritating to me.
Yeah, also, I don't think that's really backseating. That's
But that's just a personal pet peeve. The only person that does it then I don't mind is Charles. He has heard me teach the same game so many times. He already knows like my flow, so he'll basically say the things I would have said. But that's about it. No one else spends as much time listening to me teach games to new people than Charles. So. Wow, I'm really in the minority with you guys. Bracket 1, 2, 3. Bracket 3. Always late, constant complainer. Okay, always late, I feel is pretty self-explanatory. In any game group, especially a public one, if you're always late, you're just waiting until the next game. We just start without them. What about you guys?
Constant complainer, also pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, self-explanatory. Yeah, you guys have any more exposition on those two?
well, it's about to be self-explanatory which one I voted for, but like I feel like the always late category is like kind of nothing to do with like playing the game itself. Yeah, it sucks you missed the appointment, but if you're always late, then like your group will quickly be like, they're always late. We planned, yeah, yeah, we planned this game for this time, but they're not playing. They're going to be late, and so they'll get in the next game or whatever. Whereas constant complainer, that's like during the game. That's like every turn more or less, or every action that doesn't benefit them. They're just going to be like annoying, and so that's always late is like a one-time thing. Even when they're late to one thing, then it's done, and then they're a normal person again. They're not. Is it like, okay, everyone roll your dice simultaneously? They're like always late. It's like, dude, you're always behind everyone else. Come on, dude, why are you always late?
They roll their dice 10 seconds after everyone rolls their dice.
And then the constant complainers complaining about the guy always rolling late, and then
That's kind of funny at that point.
yeah, you guys already know what I voted for. It's a no-brainer in my opinion. This is probably one of the more lopsided category or groups I saw.
Okay, okay. Andrew, you're always late? Constant complainer?
I am voting for a constant complainer.
Yeah, me too.
There's no question.
Compares to better games. So someone who's constantly comparing the game you're playing to a better game. So an example of this would be like,
Or a game that they think
well,
is
if you play
better.
like a deduction game and there's like,
Oh,
you
okay.
don't like this deduction game, and let me tell you about this other deduction game that's better, kind of thing. I've definitely met people like that. Okay, and two, compared to, or sorry, versus the bad loser. Let's see, a bad basically doesn't take it well when they lose.
So once they lose, they just keep complaining and
I have to admit, I tend to roast the hell out of the guy who's the bad loser. If you can't take a loss or you want to whine about it, I will make fun of you. And it's gonna be, depending on how hard you take it, it's gonna be harder and harder for me to hold back. That's just true. I don't know. This is just a habit from when I was a kid. Like,
that's funny. I don't think I've ever seen that from you.
if you're gonna be a bad loser about it, I'm like, well, stop sucking then. is the only refrain.
Have you tried playing well?
Have you tried, yeah, not sucking? Like it's hard for me not to make fun of you if you're gonna be a bad loser. So like I don't know if that just it bothers me less because that guy is comedy gold to me at least. What do you guys think? Do you have any more examples or
I have plenty of examples, but they're just like online games like League of Legends. Even any game online, pretty much, like chess online. Any game where you can talk to your opponent, you're gonna
Eh.
encounter bad losers all over the place. Online just breeds
Yeah.
bad losing just because there's no consequences, more or less. But the thing about the bad loser is like if someone is known to be a bad loser, that exacerbates the problem because it's like if they're ever struggling or if there's a move that like will maybe antagonize them or like make their game worse, you're like, oh, they're gonna take this horribly, and it affects you throughout the whole game. Maybe not Paul. He's just gonna make fun of him, but maybe it'll make him do it more.
well,
But it
yeah, I mean, I thought your point was like you're like me where you make fun of the bad loser, so you will do things to antagonize them.
I wouldn't say I would ever antagonize the bad loser just because I know they're going to be a bad loser, but like it does kill the vibe for most people. I think it's just like I would prefer. This is one person I'm going to avoid. Like I'm especially going to not play with this person. Yeah, even when, I don't know. It's even annoying even when they're only like self-deprecating. Like they don't take it out on anyone else but themselves, and it's just sort of like
Yeah, I think that's kind of true for all of them to some extent. They kind of ruin the vibe as is. So, and the whole point of making fun of them is really about lightening the mood and bring some levity to their shitty attitude about it. It's like, okay, dude, like, you lost. It's fine. We can move on. But
It still kills the vibe, right?
yeah, this falls into the take games too seriously guy as well, where it's like, guy, it's not that important. Maybe if this were a tournament that you paid money for and and you needed the prize money to feed your family, okay. But that's that's a whole different problem. That I don't know. I went off the rails on that one. Let's move on.
All right. So Paul, you're voting, right?
Well, we haven't even talked about compares to better games,
Oh,
which is a very specific category. I think where it's worse is if they're not even through playing a game for the first time and they're already talking about the same mechanics that they like in other games and they'd rather be playing.
well, sure, but games, often reuse mechanics and they can use them in different, interesting ways. That's why this other game exists too.
Right. But still, it's
Yeah.
like,
I don't mind hearing about when someone compares to better games. I don't mind hearing because it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll try that some other time. Or, oh, why do you like this, right? Like, there's something interesting there. As opposed to the bad loser, where it's just, well, we went over it.
I certainly don't mind it for like post-game discussion.
Yeah.
It's just really annoying like during the game though. Like as I'm playing. It's sort of like at the right time, buddy.
I will say I am ready to vote.
I mean, me too, but I mean, I was ready before we even started the conversation.
Well, sure.
okay. So, because I enjoy making fun of the bad loser, I actually find the comparison better games more annoying. David, what do you think?
Oh, bad loser all the way. Like I said, like guy compares to other games I could play with. The bad loser, I just want to avoid. Yeah.
Andrew.
I am also bad loser all the way.
Wow. This is so funny. Like, are our gaming experiences that different that we have such different even?
I guess maybe it's in the way we deal with it. You seem to have like offense towards these bad people, where we're just like, just stay
This
away.
is not looking good for my bracket thing.
Actually, I want to add to the always late guy. Like, this guy actually might be awesome because like, despite the fact that he's always late, he keeps getting invited, or she.
Yeah.
And it's like there must be a reason why we keep wanting to play with this person. you know, it's just a thought I had.
Maybe they have all the games from Europe, from abroad.
Oh, that makes it way worse because then we have to wait for him.
That is worse. That is worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have the games. Shit.
Okay, next bracket. Alpha Gamer. Guy who tells you what to do all the time. I've seen it in competitive stuff, but it is more common or more of a problem in cooperative games. And the braggart. The guy who's always talking trash. Well, I don't know. I guess talking trash and bragging are not exactly the same thing. They're just talking up how good theirs is, or they have it, or their situation is.
Yeah, if the word involves brag or then it's something about building yourself up. Like you can't brag about how someone else stinks. You have to brag about how good you are.
So on the surface, these sound very similar.
No, no, Alpha Gamer is similar to the backseat for sure, but Braggart I don't think has anything to do with Alpha Gaming unless you challenge what they say. Maybe they're like, I'm really good at this game.
Yeah. To me, the connection is that they both think they're very good at the game.
Although no, it's weird. Like maybe they think that. I've seen several instances of Alpha Gaming where they're not giving good advice, especially when it comes to Pandemic, because I've played it a lot. There's some very obvious things that you should not do, and then
Oh, naturally.
that's your recommendation. I might have to turn into Alpha Gamer too. That sucks.
David, when you start us off.
Well, I'm still a bit confused on Braggart because, like,
Usually it's just they're bragging in general about themselves. Within the game context, it'd be like about their position or, you know, how well they're doing.
yeah, I guess because I'm trying to think of it like I feel like on this one I didn't think of it like an extreme example, like extreme. I guess they're both pretty bad extreme, but like I felt that it was a more kind of a general example, general Alpha Gamer and Gen Braggart, and in that case, I think the Alpha Gamer is worse.
Okay. Andrew?
I think I'd agree that the alpha gamer is worse. I'm actually curious. I'm somewhat curious about David if you're imagining a high end braggart being worse.
Well, I'm thinking more about being. I think even in extreme situations, the high-end Alpha Gamer is worse. I'm trying to think of the extreme Braggart where they're like,
Like, there's a limit to that, right? As the
I
braggart.
don't know. Yeah, it feels like it. You have to like start putting other people down as well to get like more extreme.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a thing too. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we have consensus. I also
Wow.
think Alpha Gamer.
Oh, nice. I for sure thought you were gonna pick Braggart just based on how every other category went.
That would have been funny.
No, I definitely find the Alpha Gamer more annoying than the Braggart. Braggart almost has a bad loser component to it, where there's nothing funner than kicking that guy's ass at a game.
True.
Because they're talking so much trash, like how well they're doing. It's like, oh no, you lost. What happened?
I think it's more of a bad winner component than a
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
loser.
yeah. I
Like
mean, it's like they overlap, but
yeah, that's true.
my thing is always like, who would I mind playing with or against in games? Like, I'd rather play with a Braggart than an Alpha Gamer. That's just like, ugh.
Yeah, like Alpha Gaming for the most part is just always knowing, even if you're very charismatic. It's just like it just takes the play out of playing the game. Braggart playing with a Braggart can actually be fun. They might fall on their face. That's
Yeah.
fun. Also, often if you're bragging, that probably means you did something good or you're doing well, and that I can learn from that. And then like if you're charismatic about how you brag, that can also be very entertaining. I am taking the best case scenario in this regard, but
Yeah, I know. I was like, you're really looking on the bright side.
yeah, but it is something to consider. Like, I don't know, sometimes the vibe in a group is just to like some games it's more fun if people are
That's
bragging.
true.
Munchkin obviously has a vibe where if you've got all the weapons and stuff, you should start bragging. It's more fun.
What was the the Jeff Engelstein. He made a tavern brawl game.
Oh yeah, Dragon and Flagon. I have it at my
Yeah,
feet
yeah, that
actually.
game was hilarious. And very thematically appropriate to bragging and stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, honestly, I do still have the game. Maybe if he was going to refine it a little bit, I think it had some really cool features and just thematically it was really fun. It was just too easy to camp around the outside and snipe as opposed to getting in there and brawling. There should be more rewards for mixing it up and getting your butt kicked as opposed to just like playing it safe, which made the game more boring. But that's another conversation. Jeff, if you're watching, hit me up. I got some ideas.
Okay, so let's move on. The Snob, the Game Snob, and the Finger Pointer. So the Game Snob basically I've seen a few versions of this. It's a little bit like compares to better games. They won't play some game or they don't want to play some game because there's a better version of it or they feel another game's a lot better. Or I've met people who are like won't play any party games or anything relatively light because it's just like this is a waste of time and beneath them, and they'll only play things that are pretty heavy. So there's a couple of versions of that. The finger pointer is like nothing is their responsibility. If they're losing, it's always someone else's fault, and they can't help but point out how it's not their fault and someone else's fault. Um, I think that I've seen people do it with like some mechanics or some card draw. So any randomizer, they'll just like, oh man, that card draws are so bad, and like they just go on and on about it. And I'm like, oh my god, what is the point, dude? It's a randomizer. We all know it's random. You don't need to explain how it's screwing you.
Look, card game players love complaining about randomness. They just can't help it. It's a fact of life. We all do it.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, if they didn't have randomness to complain about, they wouldn't have any fun.
That too, like for some people, complaining about things is how they take control of the situation. So if something bad or, a tragic, God forbid, happened to them, a way to sort of control the situation is to complain about it. That's not my favorite way to handle it, but I've definitely heard of that.
Well, that I feel is describing more the constant
There's that
complainer.
too, yeah.
Like the finger pointer is more direct. It's definitely pointing at things rather instead of just complaining about things in general. I don't know. That's not much of a difference, but
They still feel very similar to me.
yeah. Oh man, I've got a problem here.
With?
Well, I might change my
What?
answer.
But what
Ooh.
about your bracket?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to scratch things out if I change my answer here.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, well, maybe one annoys me more than the other.
Drama.
I know. What was said, I think I had the wrong idea about the finger pointer.
Oh, you did. Okay. What do you think the finger pointer meant?
And I thought it was less about complaining and more about just strictly like blaming other people.
Yeah, I mean that's a part of it. But you can blame more than just people. You can blame like the random nature of the game kind of thing.
Yeah, I didn't consider
Or
that.
at least that's the thing I've encountered the most. Oh man, these dice are always screwing me.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's wrong. That's just not, I didn't consider that as part of the finger pointer. That felt more like constant complainer, which I looked at before, so I didn't think about it. So now I gotta think about which of these I hate more.
Which one sucks harder? Interesting.
I think I'm gonna stick with what I had, but I'm just like this kind of goes against what I said
All
earlier.
right, Andrew, you're up first.
I will vote for the finger pointer.
Okay.
Mhm.
The person who blames everything. That's my vote.
I have to agree with Andrew. I'm also not down with the finger pointer.
Oh, cool. So my vote doesn't matter. Yeah. I went with a snob again. Part of it's because I had the wrong idea about the finger pointer. The second part is like I don't know, something about the snob just wounds me personally. I don't mind if you play the games you like, but I just do not like people that either refuse to try things or talk down about other stuff.
Yuck other people's yum, as it were.
Yeah, that could remove people from playing games altogether. Like that could lower the attendance of the group.
Yeah.
I could see that. I remember when I was a kid. Sorry, not like a kid, but I was like in my 20s, and obviously I didn't have a lot of money.
Kid Paul.
Okay, yeah, I didn't have a lot of money. I bought some lunch, and it had meat in it essentially. And someone who I was working with was a vegetarian, and they kind of like walked by and went, "Ew," and I'm like, dude, like no matter what you say, I'm gonna have to eat this because I don't have a lot of money and I need to consume some calories just to live. So it is very inappropriate for you to like yuck other people's yum kind of thing. Where and
Are you sure they're talking about the sandwich and not about you personally?
Dang.
Dang.
I suppose that's possible, but no, I was pretty sure because they were kind of a hardcore vegetarian kind of thing, and I was just like, dude, this is not appropriate.
All right. Well, anyway, I'll submit to the masses. The finger pointer wins. Where it's different is like the snob feels like out of game, whereas the finger pointer is like during the game, and I've gone the other way before that. But
Yeah,
I don't know. Snob just affects
that's
me
perfectly
personally.
Yeah.
legitimate.
So don't be a snob
You're
in front of me.
outvoted, but perfectly legitimate.
I am
Okay,
outvoted.
all right.
Oh, is this what being you feels like? Being outvoted? Oh no.
Yeah,
No.
David, suck it.
Oh
You've done been
no.
outvoted. All right, moving on. Guy who moves your pieces for you. So this is, you're playing some game. The sense I get is they want you to hurry up. So you've already, announced whatever move you're gonna make, and they're sort of on the tail end moving all the correct pieces for you.
I went even further with that. For my thought, it's like this guy will actually reach out and move pieces on your player board that's like closer to you than than to them.
Oh, wow. That is a invasion of personal space.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I did not think of that.
Yeah, that can be a thing if they're close enough, I guess.
I did not even consider that as a possibility.
It's a bit much. Yeah, if I'm close, if you're closer to the pieces than I am, that makes sense. You're just helping out, you know. And some people really don't like that, but there's degrees.
Yeah, that's the angle I went. Like, oh, this doesn't seem too bad.
If the game is enough of a table space hog and there's honestly things you can't reach, I would prefer it if someone moved my pieces for me. And I guess my optimum result would be I ask you and you do it. That way I know you did it. I don't think like, oh, that piece hasn't been moved yet or whatever.
Oh, that's a good point. You look up and you're like, "Did I get 2 points for this?" And then you have no idea.
Yeah, or like if you're on a certain track, the game has tracks, and the track thing is just far away from you. I don't want to think, oh, I didn't move it? Was it moved? So if someone else moves it for me and tells me, I think that's fine, or I appreciate that. I don't think that's a problem. But it would be weird if people moved it without telling you.
That's possibly called cheating.
Okay, not to telegraph our choices versus the Care Bear. So the Care Bear cannot play direct conflict games or any kind of conflict games. They won't like basically attack anyone or make any move. They really shy away from making moves that could hurt others. This is especially bad if you're playing with a couple or a parent and a child where the parent won't make a move to mess with their kid. And I think we would all be like more careful about picking certain games in that case and just not put yourself in that situation. But you're essentially going against the theme or the spirit of the game if you're not willing to make moves that may potentially hurt some other player, et cetera, et cetera. So I've seen this a few different ways, a few different variations on it. It's annoying. It's definitely annoying. Do you guys have anything to add to that one?
Well, the context matters. I don't find mother and child very annoying. That's just kind of how it
Oh, I just went
is.
with parent.
Or parent and child. Well, mother's but father and child, that's annoying. Mother and child. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, like the context matters, of course. But like in general, like if you have to limit the games you play with couples because they'll never go against each other, or one person will never go against the other, that's pretty annoying.
That's true.
But yeah, honestly, like Care Bear, the way you started to describe it was almost like how I play most games to a small degree, because like the person that doesn't wants to like not hurt anyone and like keep things calm, like no aggression, is often how I'll play like a lot of games. It's not that I'm not averse to aggression. It's just I prefer to play like economically or just like build myself up rather than attack people. But I will if I need to.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that specifically because that can be strategically better, right? You don't want to create an enemy in the first like, you know, 2 turns of the game and find out they're trying to screw you, 5 turns in or 6 turns in. It's like,
Yeah, strategically, it's just more the style I like to play. Like, let's say we're playing a war game or like a fight two nations. I like to try to beat you economically while staying just enough below you militarily so that you can't kill me, right? I have enough to defend but not attack you, but I'm beating you economically. That's the kind of balance I like to do. Again, it's not because I don't want to attack ever. That's just how I prefer to play as opposed to never attacking because it might offend someone.
that's you, David. It's David the Care Bear. Care Bear David.
I have a Care Bear stare, yeah.
David Care Bear. Care David Bear.
That doesn't sound good.
I'm just putting your name in every iteration of it.
No, I know other names would sound better than the Care
Is
Bear.
there one you
Like
prefer?
out of those, none of them sound. David doesn't fit well. I think Dave would probably fit better with Bear, like David the Bear.
David the Bear.
It removes the care, but like it sounds better than like David Care Bear. That doesn't sound good. Paul, why don't you start on this one?
It's me? Okay. I gotta go with guy who moves your pieces for you inappropriately. I'm just throwing it inappropriately because sometimes it's appropriate. Like if I'm too far away from it, that's fine.
Yeah,
But
fair
if you
enough.
do it inappropriate, like what you described, you come over to my personal board and start moving things around, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
If you get up and walk around to do it, that's a bit much. That's personal. That's a direct attack. Like if they get up and walk around the table to move your pieces for you. I have arms, man. I wasn't thinking that at all. Anyway, I went with Care Bear. Yeah, but Care Bear
You
inappropriately.
went with Care Bear? Oh wow. Our first drama situation. Andrew, you're the tiebreak.
Yeah, that's whoa. I I think I'm going Care Bear, though I was very tempted to switch to the guy who moves your pieces for you based on that very extreme example. Like, because what going into this, I just assumed, well, the guy who moves your pieces for you, well, there can be a very cooperative element to that, as we discussed, right? Like the low end thing, if it's something that, oh yeah, could you move my piece for you? Like, or if everyone's all together and they understand what's going on, like moving pieces seems totally fine.
I think the Care Bear thing, where it's really inappropriate, is if it goes against the spirit of the game. Because to some extent, if there's some balance to be maintained because everyone's attacking each other, it is not appropriate for one person to kind of mess with that balance by refusing to attack anyone. You're next to the player who's winning. It's kind of understood this is how the game works. You're supposed to be attacking people. You're supposed to be making points and maybe limiting the whoever's in the lead kind of points. So they can actually kind of ruin a game that way. So I can kind of see that.
I don't know. Both of these felt pretty low on the annoyance spectrum compared to most of the other stuff. I fully expect Care Bear to not to win the next round very soon. Yeah, but we'll see.
Okay. Moving on, we have the metagamer. So basically carries things from game to game or uses influences or reasons from outside the game to make decisions inside the game, usually kind of petty. Like weird in how petty it is. Versus can't understand anything. I've definitely met gamers like this where they have really hard time remembering a lot of stuff and understanding how the things like how the mechanics interact. They generally don't have a problem like remembering like one rule or another rule or whatever. But like when you put the rules together, they just don't have a sense of how any of them interact, so they don't understand anything like what they're supposed to be doing. So this can be kind of like tough. What do you guys think, David? You seem to have a example on the tip of your tongue.
So let's say there's this guy we knew. His name is Mark. It's not Mark. I made that up. It's someone else we know. But for now, their name is Mark. And Mark, whenever you played with them, would just, I think this falls into the category, but just seem to never have a cohesive plan when they play. Like it would get to their turn and they'd make a move that they could do, but it made no
It's
sense.
legal, but it makes no sense.
It makes no sense compared to like the stuff they did before. Like let's say they're playing like I don't know Splendor or something. Although that's not the greatest example, but whatever. Let's say they're playing Splendor, and they're just like they'll stack up a bunch of reds, and then they'll not buy red cards with their discount.
Cards that cost red.
Yeah, they just look and see what they can do, and then just do it with no sense of what happened before. And it was like, it's very annoying.
Have you not seen that as a strategy where they limit the resource, the red gems, and then they don't let anyone like it's kind of a drought strategy.
I mean, sure, yeah, but I was talking about the
Oh, okay.
cards. Like you buy like a red card that gives you a one red discount, and then they just wouldn't consider that in terms of what they do next. They just go for whatever they see. It's also like weird explaining rules to these people because like, did they get it?
Yeah, there's always that
Right.
question that was there.
Probably not. Doesn't then you're like, does it matter? And
Yeah.
then, like, then you start getting existential with it.
I have to admit, like the metagamer taking things from outside the game for in-game state stuff, that seems like a kind of weirdly extra petty.
Also against the spirit of the game.
Whereas the person who can't understand anything, if they honestly can't understand or whatever, I have the tendency to be more forgiving of that.
Metagamer can be like everyone metagames in some
Sure.
degree. Like if it's someone's birthday and it's a 50-50, you'll obviously go against not birthday.
A non-birthday player.
Yeah. It's like I have to attack someone. It's your birthday. All right, I'm attacking you, or the other person.
Well, it's like if you attacked me, we played two different games, and you attacked me in the first game. So in the second game, I'm going to ignore the board state and, maybe attacking the leader, and I choose to attack you because you attacked me in the previous game. That's very meta.
I have very little experience with that, but it does feel weird that that could be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. That's a pretty extreme. Usually, metagaming comes in. And I guess we're talking about the worst of these things, so that would make more sense. But like, usually, metagaming comes in. It's like you attacked me last game. This new game, it's like I want to attack or I have the resources to attack someone. It doesn't really matter who I attack. Okay, I'm attacking you because you attacked me last game. At least that's something. Not a whole like I'm going to abandon all reason and mess you up for what happened last game.
I don't know. Some people don't start with any reason. They ain't abandoning anything.
It's true. Well, okay, I have an example, sort of, but this is like kind of pro metagaming because it made it more fun. But there's a person in my old game group where it was just like their style was like hyper aggressive always. Oh, this isn't metagaming. This is me metagaming them, or the whole group metagaming around them. So it's not their problem. Anyway, whatever. They're always aggressive. So it was always kind of rule like if you build next to them or do anything near them, you know what's coming. It was a very deterrent, and there was a whole kind of meta around like playing around how they play, which would never win, but it would always like be aggressive. And so it became this whole different meta. That's not quite what we're talking about,
Yeah, that's like
unfortunately.
the whole group metaing one guy.
Yeah, but it's like well, because you had to, otherwise, if you did, because if you ignored it, it was like clockwork. It always happened. If you if you gave him an opportunity to attack, you were getting attacked. So that's a little different, yeah.
David, what do you think?
So I went with a guy that can't understand anything. I guess it's a little more personal to me because like it makes it worse when explaining games or even like it kind of runs into either APing or Agent of Chaos, which is coming later. It's just hard to play with someone who can't understand what they're doing.
Andrew, what do you think?
I voted metagamer.
Oh, me too. I went with metagamer.
You guys don't understand anything.
Do you mean outside the game or inside the game?
Is it this game? I guess yeah, inside this game, yeah.
This game.
Yeah, this is the game. Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like for the can't understanding anything type of person, it just feels unfortunate. Like I understand your point, David. It can be very frustrating, but it's also just if that's just them, that's just kind of unfortunate. And well, whereas the metagamer, they're making a very conscious but arbitrary choice that doesn't feel like it fits with the game.
So my worst can't understand anything was a while ago. There was an older lady. We'll call her D, and she loved playing some of these games, and she loved the playing more than anything else, which was great. and we would play with her, and she would ask me about tactics or strategies in a particular game. I tried to explain them to her, and then she would just be like, "I don't understand." And I'm like, "Okay." And that's fine. It's not a big deal, but she would ask me. So I kept trying to like figure, is there a way I can explain this that makes sense to you? So I would try to explain and re-explain like, what I was doing and why I was doing them. To kind of show you, okay, so this is what I'm working towards, this is how I'm doing it, kind of thing. And then she would just come back at me with this blank stare, and I'm like, okay, let's just move on. We can just keep playing. There's nothing else to say. Because you can't understand, you just can't understand. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. It's like, but yeah, like I had a very similar to what David was describing before, where like, do you even know what's going on? Does it even matter if I explain it to you? Kind of like, I don't know what to tell you. The worst is like she would ask me, and I just didn't know how to explain things to her in a way that she could understand. Okay, moving on, moving on. Next bracket, we got Agents of Chaos. So this is kind of a weird one in that I've seen this happen a few different ways. Right from the beginning, they just do things that are completely random and doesn't make any sense. It tends to be a little more aggressive because they want to see like some effect for what their moves are doing. They just want to like create some kind of change so people notice. Sometimes this happens when someone's losing and they like are losing so badly they know they can't win, so they decide to stop trying to win and they just, do something super random or super crazy or create a very extreme effect. So that's the Agent of Chaos versus won't clean up the game. The guy who won't clean up the game. That seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, dude, what's up? Why won't you clean up the game? Look, if you gotta go, understandable. Or, every single time we play a game, you gotta go, and then you come back 5 minutes later, something's going
I've
on.
definitely had moments like this where we're running late, the game we were playing is like running long, and I should really leave. I always ask, is it, hey, is it cool if I just take off? I really gotta go. And then most people are pretty understanding about it. To do it consistently, that does seem kind of weird. And are you really that adverse to cleaning up that you have to do it all the time? Yeah, I don't know. That just seems very weird.
So this is funny for me because like if I bring one of my own games, I'm actually okay with people not cleaning up because I'll have my own like system for putting things away.
Yeah, I've definitely had it from the same thing with that Andrew has, where like games nowadays, if they're nicer, they'll have a ton of pieces, and then they'll have so many pieces they have to have the correct inserts to house all the pieces, and then they have a diagram chart to show you how to put everything away so that it fits in the box. And in those cases, it's just easier if I'm the only one cleaning up. Last Light is kind of like that to some extent. Some people like kind of figure out how to clean that game up. Or I'll just give instructions like, okay, put all of these things in this particular like player specific container. But that's about it. Everything else you kind of have to like fold correctly and put away correctly or it won't fit in the box. And that's very irritating. So yeah, I've definitely had it from the other side too. Like, yeah, it's okay. Just don't help. I'll take care of it. Okay, Andrew, you're kicking us off.
So yeah, I'm voting for Agent of Chaos.
I gotta admit, I'm the same.
Make it 3 for 3 because, like, sort of like the guy who's always late, though won't clean up guy, just becomes like suspicious, but it's very specific to just the end of the game, and it's like it's annoying. But then we just have to decide if we want to stop inviting you or not, just because of that. Whereas the Agent of Chaos, at least, I don't even think it's that bad, honestly, depending on the circumstances. If you're just creating chaos the whole
Yeah, it
time.
varies a lot by the game.
Also, your examples seem to be more like if they're losing or if they're just not sure what to do. It comes up. If they're just being chaotic all the time, that's pretty annoying, but usually it's still within the confines of the rules.
Yeah,
It's not like they're throwing the pieces all over the place.
but there's some games like CO2 where if like the level of CO2 exceeds a certain limit, it'll
Mhm.
just like everyone dies or everyone loses. So then the chaotic player will intentionally make moves to like build dirty power plants to make the CO2 level go up an extreme amount.
It's not a cooperative game. Isn't that just
That's not
losing?
cooperative.
Oh, okay.
It's semi-cooperative where you're competing, and you're
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to. Everyone has to build like dirty plants to begin with, and then you switch over and you can start building the nicer plants. And some of the plants can even there are ways to like clean up the air as you go. But if a player kind of like knows they can't win and they just keep building the dirty plants, I mean, you can't kind of like within the rules ruin it for everybody.
I've seen Agent of Chaos be used as a strategy as well, very
To
specifically.
win?
Yeah, kind of, or to like, as a strategy at least. Like games where you have to choose a card and they have to choose a card, and you know what's in each person's deck. Sometimes people will just shuffle their cards and pick one randomly.
Well, that's much more appropriate as a strategy. That's more about not giving information away. Not you're in trying to intentionally creating a situation that can like throw the game out of control or out of whack or whatever.
Well, it's also that you don't know what the card
Yeah.
is. And so you're basically making it a random chance. Like this could be the nuke, or this could be the blood, the nothing. And I don't even know what it is, so I can't give it away.
I don't think that counts as that's random, but that I don't think that counts as agent of chaos kind of stuff. That's more about controlling information or not giving away information. So I would say that's more of a valid strategy.
Controlling it from yourself. I don't know. It sounds pretty chaotic to me.
Yeah, yeah. Like, well, if you're easily read, you not knowing means other people don't know, or other people can't know. Let's move on. We have always on their phone. Ugh.
That little sigh.
Versus the colluder. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
I side on both.
You might as well start this one, Paul.
Okay. Always on their phone. There are people like this. I think it's much less prevalent in board games. Like half the point of board games is that you want to get away from screens and do stuff with other people. So I don't see this as a big problem a lot. And even I'll like pull out my phone every once in a while because Amanda will text me while I'm out and playing games and stuff, and I just need to like if there's some emergency, I need to know what it is. So the colluder. Okay, the thing that annoys me about the colluder is them trying to make deals. And they're still trying to make deals even when no one else wants to make a deal. Like, have you ever played a game where, let's say it's a 4-player game, and the three of you are fine playing like a regular game, and there's one guy who's just trying to make a deals with other people to do certain things that are not within the spirit of the game, and you're just like, dude, stop asking me. What is your problem? I don't understand this phenomenon or what their motivation is, but they're always trying to eke out a weird like 1% advantage. Oh yeah, if we work together like this, then we'll get this.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never run into
And you've
that.
never run into that.
I've never run into that.
Appropriate when you're playing like trading games.
Actually, okay, every now and then, like I guess in more like larger like area controls type games, like there can be some of that, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, area majority games, area control.
definitely not to that extent that you're describing. Right? It will usually be like a one-time thing. Oh well, like
But yeah, I've met people like they just want to make the deal. They
that's
just want to
funny.
make a deal. And it can be over something really small. It's very strange. And like nobody else is interested. Like, dude, I don't want to make a deal. I just don't. Let's just move on.
Yeah, I mean, this is assuming that the game doesn't have negotiation as part of the game. Even if that's the case, there's people that just overly negotiate and make the game take too long. Settlers of Catan should not take 3
Yeah, it really
hours.
should. There's also, oh, I guess another aspect of it is like you've agreed to attack the leader and you're going out of your way to really collude to attack the leader real hard. I've seen that before too.
I mean, that sounds circumstantial. That sounds like it depends on the circumstance for that one. Because, like, do you have no chance? Do you have no chance if you don't do that? Then that kind of makes sense, and that's probably why it's easier to
But
collude.
even in some games, it's not appropriate to talk through like that. Well, I'm going to attack this and this, so you should attack this other thing and this other thing. If there's a chance you both attack like the same thing, like that should be like something, I don't know. There are points where I think it's like no, this is not in the spirit of the game. You're not supposed to be negotiating or telling people where you're going to attack, and then so they do this other thing to attack other things to really gang up on someone. That just seems very not appropriate, I guess.
So for me, like on the phone, guy on the phone all the time is just the guy not paying attention with equipment.
It's the same as the guy not paying attention with equipment. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but he's plugged, he's dialed in. He's got a device to help him. So it's kind of the same thing. Like I said, I've taken people's phones away.
Oh
Same.
wow.
That's what would happen to me.
Okay.
I'm with David. This reads as very much the person who doesn't pay attention. Not a fan of that, so that's my vote. Nice and easy. I just did it. I voted. I know it was your turn, but
No, I think it's your turn, isn't it?
oh well, there you go. Always on the phone.
Always on the phone. I gotta admit, I gotta go with always on the phone.
I got to admit, you two are weird. It's definitely the colluder.
The colluder.
Yeah, on the phone, you just take their phone
Oh.
away. The colluder. You can't just be like, shut up and sit in the corner.
So you have a solution to the problem. So
An easy solution, yeah.
that's really it's like me with the doesn't pay attention guy. If you can like engage him a few seconds before it's their turn, usually you can keep them on track.
Right.
But if you have a solution, then give me your phone before I beat you to death with it.
Yeah.
And then if they give you the phone, you're great. You're golden.
Exactly. No problem. But you can't tell the colluder guy to shut up and sit in a corner. That's just rude.
So David, who has less respect for other people's property, i.e., phones, he may or may not be voting for the card bender guy. The card bender is sort of it came to be understood as anyone who does not treat your game pieces nicely is the idea. So basically, card bending is a stand-in for just all forms of that, where you have a super nice game and you feel like other people aren't treating it nicely. You know, I've seen people eat stuff and then get crap on my games, and I'm like, oh, you're killing me, dude. I just got this. Like, yeah, like sometimes part of the reason, like, I know a game's gonna see a lot of play, I'll sleeve the cards and stuff like that. Versus the game redesigner. So this tends to happen if you play games with designers, which I think is kind of funny. But they'll play a game, something they didn't design, and then they'll try to redesign it and like change a rule or at least comment on how no, this is the wrong choice. Yeah, this is not how this should work. It should work like this other way. And then they'll go through and describe how they would have designed it if they were the designer of the game.
I mean, this is very similar to Compares to Better Games.
To some extent, but it's I guess it's more specific.
They're trying to make it a better game. This is only annoying to me because I usually find conversations like this interesting. If it's your favorite game, that'd be pretty annoying because, like, dude, I like this game. I don't need you to try to change it. But
Don't yuck other people's yum, man.
right. But even more annoying than that is if they do it in the middle of the game and insist that the rules take place now.
That is the extreme end.
Well, have you seen that? They insist that the rule be changed in the middle?
I have not seen that, but I'm just imagining the extreme.
That is the extreme end.
Okay. That is pretty extreme because I would think, like, if anything, if we've been playing a game wrong, being consistent on the rule and playing it out, even if it's wrong, as long as everyone understands that's how we've been doing it, is more important than redesigning it or playing by the correct rule.
But I guess the extreme of the card bender would be just to tear the card in half. Imagine the extreme card bender. The dude is playing like Rhino Hero with your cards in between turns, just stacking them up and bending them. Yeah, tear them in half. I don't need this card anymore. Rips it in half and like. Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you. I don't want to write to a designer or a publisher to resend me a new copy of that card.
I hope you're willing to pay for a new copy, like right now.
Yeah. I remember there was a guy, we were playing, what was it, Tammany? We were looking at Tammany Hall and we broke David's board.
Oh my god.
Not we. This other guy broke David's board.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he apologized and he even offered to, I think, buy the game.
No, it was cool. I just taped it.
Yeah, you took it pretty well, considering. I was like, holy shit, what'd you just do? I was shocked.
No, it's just an accident. It's just like the board folds. It was one of those was one of those boards that doesn't fold in half; it folds into quarters. So if you turn it the wrong way, which is totally like logical to do it, you don't know which way to do it, then it just tears. The
It's
paper
like
just tears.
a 6-panel board, and you're supposed to fold it a specific way to get it down to one square. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fine. I knew the guy. I knew he wasn't like doing that on purpose, so it wasn't a problem.
All right, I'm gonna start us off. I got a thing with respecting other people's property. I cannot stand the card bender. That's me.
Oh yeah, I'm second. I agree. It's like nothing worse than getting a hand or like trying to shuffle cards and like a fourth of them are at a, at a 30-degree angle and are now this it just don't lie flat. It's like
Ugh. If my shutters hadn't made it obvious,
oh no, it's more permanent.
yeah.
This is a permanent thing that's that these things cost money. This is permanent and it's affecting every game after this. Whereas the game designer just you just don't have to listen to them.
And like there can be an interesting conversation from that. So yeah, if my shutters hadn't made obvious, I am 100% on the card bender. I saw that we were like talking about this beforehand, and like I immediately had the story. We were playing Bang the Bullet, that sort of mafia, not mafia, but like that.
It's a hidden roll. It's a hidden roll. Take that game.
Thank you, David. But yeah, one person, I've only played with him like the one time, for a good reason. But like every time he played a card, it's like he pressed his thumb like so square firmly into the middle of the card and was like bending it like almost at a 9-degree angle, and I was just like, oh my god, like, ugh, ugh.
All right, moving on. The gloating winner. So someone who wins and rubs your face in it versus the instant judge. So the instant judge is someone who plays a game for maybe a turn, maybe less, and just instantly tells you if this is good, bad, or really sucks. They've already judged the game categorically without actually finishing the game. Sometimes not even beginning the game, you get an instant judge, which is apparently a very common phenomenon on Board Game Geek.
Yeah, this is I also feel this has overlap with a game redesigner.
Okay. Uh, David, why don't you go ahead then?
I can't stand a bad
Oh, you
winner.
can't stand a gloating winner.
I cannot stand a bad winner. It
All
is
right.
just one of the worst. I mean, it kind of says more about them than
That's
anything,
true.
but it's just like now I gotta talk to them and psychoanalyze them and delve into their memories and
They're gonna keep going, right? If they're a bad winner and they're gonna gloat, they're gonna keep gloating about it for who knows how long.
yeah. I don't want to. Andrew, what'd you pick?
My vote is the gloating winner.
In this matchup, I found the instant judge more annoying.
Wow.
It's just like give the game a chance. I think that
Interesting.
really speaks to someone's mindset when you can't even give a game a full chance before making a judgment. And the gloating winner is easily beaten by never letting them win. Just kick their ass and they ain't got shit to talk about.
Yeah, but then you have to it gets worse because now everyone is colluding against them.
That may be a thing.
Every game, we're all colluders now. Also, hilariously enough, I've been the instant judger, not so much playing a game with friends because it doesn't matter really how bad the game is if you're just hanging, but like with demos. I've played a game for like 20 seconds and be like, this game is not good.
Yo, this is garbage, man. This is just garbage.
Well, that's also actually very good feedback for if someone's like demoing and playtesting. That's actually very valid.
I feel bad because it depends. If it's a demo, okay, if it's a playtest, that's one thing. I can give advice. If it's a demo and the product is there and trying to be sold, well, to be fair, it was like the theme was like you're a pickup artist.
Wait, like in a dating sense?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oof.
And it was also trying to be edgy
I mean,
as well.
sometimes games that have themes like that and like they're putting so much effort in being edgy they don't actually make a good game. So I can kind of see how some people might like try and go, "Oh, just isn't good."
You can have an edgy theme and still be a good game. That's why I tried it out. And then after I tried it out, I was like, no, this is not one of those
They're
exceptions.
just letting the theme try to do all the work for it.
Oh yeah, there was another example. Another example. I was it was I forget the name of the game. It was a demo, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do a sample turn. We're like, okay, you play a card, I play a card, we reveal, and we look at the strength. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And then he said, and then we both roll a 10-sided die and add it to that, and that determines the winner. And I'm like, okay, this game sucks.
A 10-sided die?
Yeah.
Such a high variance. I
Yes.
could
Yes, it
see if it
is.
was like a 4-sided die, maybe.
And the cards went up to 9, so like max, I guess, is 18 versus 2 in that case. But in general, it's sort of like, yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird that something would have that high a variance.
That's what I thought too. I mean, it's the old school mentality, I guess. A lot of games back in the day, you'd roll dice with it, like Risk.
Yeah, how can we cater to Americans? Like, it's not a board game without rolling dice.
Yeah, right. But anyway, that was my instant judgment, which I feel like a lot of people might agree with me on that one, but it's still an instant judge.
Fair, but
Yeah.
I mean that's just a bad mechanic though. That's not so much instant as much as like, no, we understand this is just bad.
Yeah. I instantly judged it.
All right, moving on. The no listen complainer. So someone who complains about something you've already explained probably, and they just weren't listening and then complain. I gotta admit, this one is I've seen it before. It's not great. And the messy eater. Oh, the messy Cheeto dust falls under this one, and sometimes anything with a sauce. For the most part, I don't think this really applies to. I don't know if I've ever seen like a really bad case of this, the messy eater. But I have to imagine it's like
So, an example I'll give, so I'll play, you know what, I'll just even say their real name because it's funny. But like, y'all know Tevi? Andrew might not know Tevi.
I think I've interacted with them online, but not in
Tevi.
person.
Oh, Tevi. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Tevi, we have a rule in person that if we're playing a game, Tevi cannot have a glass of water at the table.
Oh,
He's a spiller.
Yes. And even Tevi's fine with it. He just puts it like, way far, like on
Another
another
table.
thing away from the game. Because it's happened multiple times. He feels bad about it.
yeah, and good, right? Like that's a good sign.
This is in line with the Messy Eater. It's not quite the same thing, but it's in line with the point of it. I can't imagine someone being such an extreme messy eater that A, they have to eat at the table, and B, they refuse to not eat or something. Because the point is, like, they'll mess up your cards. It's similar to the card bender. The card, you can't tell them. I guess you could in extreme cases, like you're not allowed to touch the cards. The messy eater is very annoying, but it's not hard to fix. You're like, dude, go over there. We'll pause the game, or just when it's not your turn, if you're gonna eat, you have to eat over there. That's it.
Yeah.
Eat in your corner of shame. Jeez.
It's not like, oh, he has to. He has to. They have to sit there, and there's no other way. They just have to get sauce all over the cards or whatever. That's not really a thing. I guess you could tell where I'm going with this, but like, yeah, it's bad. It's just not in the category where I'm just like, I see it being a problem just because it's so reasonably fixable.
David, you're going first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, I picked the no listen complainer. It's even worse when it's like, in general, I think this applies to like people who refuse to listen to the rules or just are like goofing off or not paying attention during the rules, and then they just complain about the rules during the
You
game.
didn't explain that. Everyone looks around. Yeah, he did. He did. like, I've definitely had that thing where you've done it. You've done it. You explained a game to me and two other people. The three of us were new. And then the fourth guy was asking about a rule, and then both me and Charles could tell him what the rule was. I remember that one. I was like, yeah, dude, look,
Yeah, that's funny.
yeah, it was the first play.
I get missing a rule or just like, you learn a new game and you forget a rule or it's but the complaint, like they're complaining like,
You didn't explain that. Yeah, he did.
they blame me for it when it's like, look, it's your first game, we get it. We don't expect you to like get everything perfect the first time, but like you're gonna complain about it. Yeah.
Don't accuse. That's so inappropriate. Like, just don't accuse, dude. Like, okay, Andrew.
Okay. My vote is also the no listen complainer because for the same reason as David, basically.
Okay, then it's a trifecta. Yay.
Yeah, messy eater, very simple solution.
All right, moving on. Klutzy. So you have some board state. It has a lot of pieces. Someone bumps the table. The board state's ruined. You forget where you are. Ugh, it does happen. Versus has to win at all costs. Extreme cutthroat, no matter what, and sometimes will what was it rules lawyer to try to get the win.
Ooh.
I was telling the other two hosts about this before we started about a guy who was interpreting a rule not generously. And I was just like, dude, you really got to stop.
There was a guy at our old game club, that's not there anymore, in game in Oakland, RIP.
Oh,
But
dang.
there was a guy there. You know, Paul, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not even going to name him. He would explain a game, like he would teach a game, and only teach it once throughout, not, and then while playing wouldn't help you out at
Are you
all.
talking about starts with a J?
You know who I'm talking about. And so then yeah, and then we know who we're talking about. That guy sucks. I'm picking. I don't care whose order it is. Klutzy is like, look, you're not trying usually. I feel bad for him. I'm also kind of klutzy. I'm not the best like when you have to roll dice. I'm not the best at like keeping it in a contained area so that it doesn't knock over everything.
Oh.
Sometimes I'll like try to roll into a bowl and I'll miss.
The miss. Yeah, that's great.
I missed the bowl. Yeah, yeah. You're supposed to roll in the bowl. Like a box lid, very rarely I'll miss that. But like the little. Anyway, point is, Klutzy, I just feel bad for him. It's not really.
Yeah.
It's annoying, but it's not like something that I get annoyed by. You're just klutzy. Whereas win at all costs, it's not a tournament, dude. Like that's not why we're here. You want to play. You want to win at all costs. You go play like a solo game, where you can abuse the rules and all that stuff and play however you want. You're playing with this group, like try to win, but come on.
Okay. Andrew has to win at all costs or Klutzy?
Has to win at all costs. Easy.
And if it wasn't obvious from what I said earlier, yeah, of course, win at all costs. It's just not appropriate. Unless maybe if you're in a tournament, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay, I also agree. Has to win at all costs, dude. Come on. Okay, the quitter, someone who will quit a game in the middle of the game or before the ending, versus the person who will play scorched earth, as in you wrong them in any slight way, they will endeavor, and all they're doing for the rest of the game is try to destroy you.
Yeah, I also feel like these have overlap with each other in a sense. Like
Yeah.
someone is you can quit in different ways. A quitter can like leave, or they can go scorched earth and not maybe target a single person, but just be like, I can't win, so I'm just gonna make everybody miserable.
My first memory when it came to this was the person who actually would leave. Her name was A, started with an A, and wow, she would leave before the game was over, and just like she hopped up and left, and no one could understand, and basically she kind of got iced out to some extent because nobody wanted to start a game with her because she wasn't necessarily going to finish to the end. And I was like, whatever.
Yeah, quit. I mean, I guess it depends on how you quit, but like constantly quitting in the middle of the game, especially if it's because you can't lose or can't win,
Yeah. All right.
then yeah, it's pretty bad. If you're quitting for other
Yeah,
reasons,
that's not cool.
I don't know, some people just have a chaotic lifestyle where they have emergencies all the time. It's a bit rare, but it's possible, especially if you're in the nursing field.
Yeah, I can see that if it was like a genuine thing, but there would be like little to no explanation, or the explanation would be, "Oh, I'm hungry. I'll see you guys later. Bye."
Awkward.
I'm honestly not sure which one I feel is worse. Like if you say I'm hungry and leave, that's one thing. If you just kind of quiet quit and then you're just not engaged and you're just, being a vibes black hole where you're just sucking in all the
Vibes black hole. Is that what you said?
you're just sucking it all. Yeah, I didn't have a good analogy. But you're just a void. You're just a void. You suck in all the positivity and it's all gone.
Yeah.
Like because you just sit there and pout. I don't know if that's worse than I think that's worse than just leaving.
All right, all right. So you're a quitter?
No, I'm on the scorched earth.
You're
I
scorched
think
earth.
Oh.
yeah, I think because that's also kind of quitting. I think like actively trying to make people suffer is worse than just taking your ball and going home.
The one thing I have for Scorched Earth is I
Fair.
think that could make for an interesting story.
I mean, so can the quitting. Paul told the story about quitting. He didn't tell one about Scorched Earth, which he could now.
Well,
Actually,
we already did that in what was it?
Yeah.
The Carson City game.
put
Yeah,
put
go
in
back to that
the
episode.
description of the episode.
All right, Andrew, you're the tiebreaker.
My vote is on the quitter.
Okay, David, you done been outvoted.
Yeah, that's understandable. I was pretty close on this one, so I'm not really fuming about that. You know what? From now on, I'm just voting against you guys.
All right. All right, last one, guys. Last one for the round.
Last one for this first round. Wow.
The rules lawyer, so someone who has to argue about any rule if it even is the slightest bit ambiguous. Board Game Geek is, for the most part, a pretty good resource on this, so there's less ambiguity, but even sometimes, if there is ambiguity and it's discussed in one way on the Geek, they'll still argue about it, which is kind of crazy to me. Versus the take backer, someone who makes moves, then almost instantly, or sometimes even worse, later wants to go back and take back a bunch of moves.
Especially if it's like a first game or like.
That is pretty awkward when it's turns later. Immediately, I think that's reasonable. Personally.
Yeah. Immediately, it's just mildly annoying because it's still their turn. They can change their mind. But like when other people have revealed information as in made decisions, I just don't think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the board game arena rule basically. Like you can undo as much as you want as long as no new information was revealed. But even then, I think most people are chill about take backing. It's annoying, but it's like if it's your first time playing, it's much more reasonable. If you do it all the time, no matter what the game, then yeah, that's pretty bad.
We have a rule for A. This is a guy now. He only gets to take back 3 times.
Wait a second. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's not Andrew.
Your name disguising is pretty poor. Like people don't know us.
I'm just using the first initial. A lot of names start with A.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a
yeah,
it's not a
whole
difficult
new name
system
is
to
better.
Talking
crack.
about? Do you even know who I'm talking about?
How do I figure?
Oh, okay.
I gave him a whole new name. I do.
Then you know why he
Anyway.
only gets 3 take backs.
Anyway,
Sometimes we're playing, we start, and then he wants to do it. I tell him right away, that counts as one of your 3 take backs, dude. That counts as one of your 3. You only get 3, that counts as 1.
yeah, I do, and I agree with it. I've been in some of those games. It's like, okay, that's 1. But anyway, rules lawyering again goes to degrees. A mild rules lawyer or general rules lawyer
Yep.
can sometimes be helpful or even appreciated. They keep arguing, like you said in your example, that's when it gets extreme and that's when it gets really bad.
There's ones where, like, if you think about like how the game's designed, like the spirit of the game, there's no way that rule is interpreted the way you're thinking, but they still want to argue about it, and I'm just like, come on, dude.
So here's what you do. You get the rules lawyer and you get the game designer, and you put them in a game together and just sit back and watch the arguments.
Oh god, that'd be so funny.
Yeah, let them fight it out.
You set them together and have them design a game. All right. David, you're first.
So I went with rules lawyer. The take backer is annoying in an extreme, but in general, I think most people, especially because they're trying not to AP, they might do something and be like, "Oh crap." Whereas the rules lawyer, it can be appreciated to a lesser degree, but in general, it's like it tends to be outside the spirit of the game, like you kind of said. I don't know. Both of these are very situational and how annoying they are. I just find more instances with the rules lawyer being annoying.
Yep, everything David said. Same vote, same reasoning.
The rules lawyer? Alright, that's a trifecta for us. I am also like, I guess it's mostly the Lowlands game from before. I was just like, dude.
That's so funny.
You really, like, you can't put your sheep between those 2 buildings because there's a fence there. Come on, dude. Just like, that's not the intent of the designer. I seriously doubt it was. And that brings us to the end of part 1 of The Worst Gamer. Wow, that was a long bracket of 32. The second half is where we'll crown who's the worst gamer. I'm sure you guys can't wait for that. We'll catch you guys next time.